Have you turned on your air conditioner yet? We have. It is too hot for me. How is everybody today? So I just let the boys back in, and yeah, that hot air, oh my gosh, even just opening the door really quick. Jason's running an errand for me. The boys' meds are ready at the vet, and I already paid for them, and someone just gotta go pick them up. So I'm just waiting for him to get back, and I promised him some of that chocolate that we had from the other video. Shockingly, we didn't eat it all yet. Shockingly. So, we stayed up late last night. I am just trying to get that window glare, but I'm just... We stayed up till about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning last night. Now, that's not uncommon. You heard Jason talk about his insomnia. To my knowledge, that was not the situation last night, though. We were watching movies. We watched one called Beautiful Boy about this teenager with a drug addiction. And I will get to drug addictions, I'm sure, in another post. The second movie, or did we watch them in reverse? I think the first movie we watched was Pet Sematary, and the second was Beautiful Boy. So, the remake of Pet Sematary. Now, of course, you guys know Pet Sematary by Stephen King, right? It's pretty good. I must admit I haven't read the book, and so I know the books usually differ from the movies, except I think Green Mile is like the only book in existence that barely deviates, or the movie barely deviates from the book. But typically, yeah, they change up some stuff, and really I kind of don't know why they do that, because if I read a book and I love it, and they announce that they're going to make a movie, I'm so excited because I love the book and I'm wanting to see if the characters look like they did in my head as I read it, and just all kinds of stuff. And I'm usually disappointed for with some factor or another. Well, I hate to say, but that's usually the way it is for remakes of movies as well. There's so many remakes, I can't name them all, but I mean, you know, you've got House on Haunted Hill. The original to me is much better. A, it's in black and white, so immediately it's scarier. B, it's got Vincent Price in it, so immediately it's scarier. And C, I mean, they changed the storyline in the new one just so that I don't think it's as scary. And that's kind of the way I feel about a lot of sequels. I mean remakes. A lot of remakes. I just find them to not be as scary. I feel like maybe they have to, or they feel like they have to dummy down the story or add parts because maybe they think the audience missed something. Or maybe, I mean, well, obviously it's a different director. I mean, you're not going to get the same director 50 years later, you know, 40 years later. So maybe they want to take it in a different direction. And it's obvious they like the original movie because, I mean, why would they do, well, I guess they could do a remake if they hated the movie, but I mean, usually people like it and they're like, yes, I want to do this for the new generation. And so they do, but it's just lacking. You know, a lot of Stephen King movies are remade. Some are better and some are clearer than the original. Like Carrie, I believe the one 2016 is closer to the book than the original movie, and I heard that about The Shining as well. I haven't seen the remake of The Shining. I've seen bits and pieces actually. So Pet Cemetery. Again, Stephen King. I guess they just love remaking Stephen King movies. You know, we were really, really excited. Pet Cemetery, if you've never watched it, go watch the original first. But if you've never watched it, it's about a family who moves into a new area and they meet a neighbor. I mean, I'm sure I'm leaving out some of the plot here, but okay. They meet this neighbor who was an old man and he's lived there, like, I believe all or most of his life. And I mean, it's just kind of a quiet area. Nothing really happens, you know. But one day, the family's cat gets hit by a car or something, and it dies. And so the neighbor takes the father and shows him the pet cemetery where the all of the animals are buried when they die. Now he kind of tells the guy, you know, that stuff is gonna happen. I mean, it makes me wonder why he introduces the guy to the pet cemetery in the first place. But you know what? Later, I think you kind of find out because this guy's dog passed away a long time ago when he was a kid, and he loved his dog. So he buried him in the pet cemetery, and the dog came back to life and it turned evil, and they had to kill it again. So years and years and years later, I think this guy Judd is hoping it's going to be different. He had said that the dog had possibly some violent tendencies anyway, and so he was thinking maybe that that was the cause of the evilness, right? So this cat that died is a nice kitty, and the family loved the kitty, and you know it never did anything evil, and so I think Judd is hoping but experimenting, you know, that it's going to be different. Well, of course, you guys know if you watch the movie, it does not turn out different. The cat goes on an evil rampage and they have to kill the cat again. So, maybe he had good intentions, but you know, he probably shouldn't have told Louis about the pet cemetery. So, then the little boy is 2 or maybe like 1.5 or something like that. And they're having a party. I think it's his birthday, so maybe he's 2 or something. You know, he wanders off and he gets hit by this truck. Well, so even though the incident with the cat turned out horribly, the dad decides to bury his son in the pet cemetery. So the mom and the daughter go off because they're so distraught and they just can't. They just need to de-stress, you know, with her child and her little brother just died, and so they're off to the lady's parents for some cool down period, and plus her dad is blaming the husband for the little son's death anyway, and so he stayed behind, and that's when he buried his son. But while away, the daughter, she kind of gets these premonitions because, well, the dad is a doctor, a paramedic, and he tried to save this guy's life at the beginning of the movie and he died. But this guy is coming back and talking to the daughter and kind of alerting her of these troubles with the pet cemetery. Now, of course, I think she's like 6 or 7, like 6 or something, 7. So she's having a hard time, you know, she doesn't know what this guy's talking about. But while there, the wife calls her husband at home, and I believe he doesn't answer the phone. And so she calls the neighbor, Judd. She says, "Can you please check on my husband? La 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 la. Oh, he's fine, whatever, whatever." And she's just not convinced if she's gonna come home. he tries to convince her not to come home, but she's just shaken by this whole experience. So, well, the little boy, he comes alive and he kills the neighbor Judd, and he comes home um, when the mom and the daughter happen to be home, just got home. So he kills his mom too. And then the dad has to kill him again, which, go figure. Big surprise here. But then seeing his wife dead, he just loses his mind, and he buries her, hoping it would turn out differently, even though it has not already twice. This guy does not learn, but grief does a lot of things to people. So he buries her, she comes to life, and at the end of the movie, it kind of infers that he died, but she comes and he's like, "Oh, honey, I love you," and then she's like about to kill him, and the movie ends. So that's the original. We just love Stephen King movies. I'm being serious. We love Stephen King movies. But so the new one, and forgive me, I don't know how old the original is. It's probably at least 30 years old. I really don't. I should have looked it up beforehand. But they decided to make a new one, and as always, we have high hopes. We love seeing new adaptations of originals. So, excuse me. So, I need some juice. The new one, it's the same story, but the thing of it is, it's kind of switched. Well, the baby's still like about 2. The daughter is 9 instead of being like 6 or 7, like in the old one. And it's pretty much the same. Judd tells him all this. The cat ends up dying, la la la. So they bury the cat. Cat comes back, starts being all evil and stuff. So it's the daughter's birthday instead of the little son. I think it was the son's in the old one. Hang on one second, okay? I told Jason he's gonna have juice when he gets back, but he'll forgive me if I say I was joking. So it's the daughter's birthday instead, and she guess she's turning 9. So but instead of this truck coming over and hitting the little boy, it hits her instead and kills her. So Judd has developed a relationship with the daughter because he's kind of closed off over the years, and all this experiences happened to him, and he just kind of sticks to himself. But this family came in and opened his heart back up. So it really hurt him too when she was smashed by the truck. But he still urges Lewis not to do it because he says, "I already know what you're thinking, but it's not going to be any different." Well, of course, the dad has to go and do it anyway because, yeah. So, yeah, the mom takes off with the son, whereas, in the original, she takes off with the daughter. So she's gone to her parents, and it's not as clear in this one that the father has issues with Lewis, like in the original. It's not as defined, I guess, or really not stated at all, I don't think. Oh, I do have to mention the sister part, Rachel's sister. That's all there. And that was pretty scary. But I do still kind of think it was scarier in the original. You know, she had some spine disorder, right? And all that, how she died and all, so that traumatized the mom. So they left all that in the new movie. But um, so he buries his daughter in the pet cemetery, and you know, of course, she's gonna come back, and it's like this happy little family for a minute, right? She comes back. He gives her a bath. He's brushing her hair, and some of her hair falls out, right? Because she's dead, and he just tells her she has tangles, right? Okay, yeah. So he's just brushing his zombie child's hair, like in The Walking Dead. You know how when the governor had his daughter, and he's all just brushing her hair, and her hair's falling out. Okay, yeah. So yeah, just go brush your zombie child's hair. It's okay. Um, so and then they go to bed, and you know there's nothing wrong with laying next to your zombie child, and he's just trying to you know, and he's traumatized and stuff, and he's trying to pretend she didn't die, and you know, okay, so but so Jason and I both agreed that we kind of have issues the with that, instead of the little boy dying, because of course then she goes and kills the neighbor. It's like a river, you know, it's the same but the opposite child. So she kills the neighbor. Um, that was kind of traumatizing. I could see where they were going with that because he had that connection with her. And of course, once she died, the connection was lost, and she had no love for anybody anymore. But Jason and I think that it was scarier whenever the little baby Gage was evil because he's a baby, right? And no one is going to expect a little 1 year old or 2 year old or whatever to be killing people. Not like you would hope your 9 year old did it, but I'm just saying it's easier. I mean, it's not easier, but in a movie standpoint, 2 year olds do not do this. And so it was more shocking for us, you know, for audiences, I guess, to see a little baby doing this than a kid. And so we thought it lost some of its scare or its shock factor. Um, so the mom arrives home with baby Gage, and it's a little bit different. It's a little bit more drawn out. And from here on, I kind of didn't like it as much. Well, not kind of. I didn't like it as much. And so she sees her daughter. And of course she freaks out because she knows her child died. And I mean, it's obviously sad, but she knows this is what happened. There was no, maybe she was alive. Maybe we accidentally buried her. No, you know, so the mom is like, what the hell's going on here? Um, Dad's trying to explain. And he tells her, you know, there's this pet cemetery, blah, blah, blah. He put her there. That's what happened to the cat because you saw the cat died. And then it came back. But, you know, and so here's our daughter. She's back. Hug your child. He would says that. Hug your child, like this is your child, love her. And the mom was like, no, and she leaves the room. And so the daughter is like, well, too bad, I don't like her anyway, you know. So I don't want to say they go to bed. I'm sure they can't sleep at that point, but you know, they are in bed, or at least the mom is in bed, and then you know, the daughter comes in the room, and there's this fight, and the mom gets the baby out, and I think the dad was checking on Judd, and he found out he was dead, and then he was like, oh my gosh, my daughter did this. And so then it comes home and the mom is freaking out, and she's trying to get the baby out the window, and so that was successful, but the mom dies. And so the husband, you know, Lewis, the husband, comes back into the house and sees his wife dead, and he just think, yeah, I mean, this is a mess. He knows you shouldn't have listened to him, but he just, thought it would be different. And so there's just this fight, and he gets out of the house. He puts the baby in the car. He decides he's got to go kill his daughter, but I'm kind of unclear. This seemed like it was maybe an hour, maybe a 2 hour movie. I mean, not the wedding of the movie, but during the night. Maybe this was an hour or two or something. Well, somehow the daughter buried the mom in the pet cemetery in all this. So the mom came back as well. And the dad doesn't know that. He's going to kill the daughter, and then behind him is the mom, and she kills him first. So then the mom and the daughter take the dad and bury him in the pet cemetery. So all this happens in one night, apparently, because the baby is still in the car. And the last scene is he's looking out the window, and his zombie family is coming for him. And the dad still had the car keys, I guess, in his pocket. And the kid is looking like, I don't know about this. And then you hear the car alarm, toot, toot, and then end of the movie. So you're going to assume that they grab the baby and kill him and bury him as well. But that is my other problem with this movie. Because now you guys have heard me talk about zombies, and I'm really not for a bunch of zombies, but I go for the traditional take on things. The traditional vampire, the traditional zombie. The traditional zombie says, basically, after death, I guess, reanimation, they are lifeless creatures, hungered from, whatever it is, food or something that's all they know. Well, okay, so the pet cemetery is demonic, it's evil. So, okay, there is an evil driving force, powering these creatures, if you will, these zombies, these reanimated people. But my thing is, they think too much. It takes thought. Now, I know the original movie had some of the little boy was telling him, I love you, Daddy, and he had this cute little voice, and you're just like, oh man, that child is evil. But, I thought the daughter just talked too much in the new one. She just voiced her emotion that she really shouldn't have had after death. Way too much. And then they thought about, they buried each other, they buried the dad, they came after the little boy. It's just too much thought process for a bunch of zombies, in my opinion. And it just lost me there, and I'm just like, that was just too much. So, yeah, it has some scares, it has some moments, and if you love Pet Cemetery, I want you to go see it, because in my opinion, I could say I do or don't like something, and maybe you will or won't like something that that's the opposite of me, and so, but as far as a good, solid 5-star remake, I'm not seeing it. No, I'm sorry, but yeah, the end just lost it for me, and it would just stand to reason then that there would be all these zombies everywhere, killing people and then dragging them back to the pet cemetery and reanimating them. You would have a Walking Dead, just by... Now, I think in the Pet Cemetery 2, they explain that after a while they die anyway because their bodies just decay and all this stuff. So, maybe it would have been like that. They just live for a little while and then they die anyway. But I mean, it was just too much for me. I didn't like it. So that is my take on Pet Cemetery remake. I guess they're just calling it Pet Cemetery. Go watch it. Let me know how you feel, if you like it, if you don't like it, if you see what I'm talking about. It was just weird to me. I don't know. It wasn't a complete, failure or anything, but no. We are looking forward to seeing what. I know this is far off, but we're looking forward to seeing X-Men, Dark Phoenix. We're looking forward to seeing It Part 2. Oh, by the way, both of those movies have James McAvoy in them. I wonder why I'm looking forward to seeing them. It is another remake, if you guys don't know that. And the original was better than the new one made, what, last year? Was it last year? Or 2 years ago? Last year or something? Oh my gosh. The original had Tim Curry in it. And so, you know what? Tim Curry is a genius. And you just can't beat Tim Curry. He was scarier. This clown, they make him scary. He is scary. Don't get me wrong. And if you guys don't like clowns, you're gonna be scared. But the thing of it is, for me, the original It, until he got all scary, like he was about to kill somebody, he looked just like a regular clown that kids might want to go up to and get a balloon from, right? This clown, this new clown, you would never do that. He looks too scary. You would never, ever walk up to this guy. To me, that's part of being scared. Like, the illusion, I guess, that they are regular people. And then all of a sudden they're not, and they bite your arm off, right? But we'll get to It Part 2 later. That's in September. Pet Sematary is open, is out now, and so yeah. Tell me what you think about remakes in general, or just Pet Sematary, whatever. Let me know if you like them, you hate them. Most of the time, like I said, just the original is just better. So I'm Joey with 2 Feet Below. Thanks for listening. And once Jason gets home, like I said, we're gonna eat some candy. Have a nice day, guys, okay?